Chapel Hill. Today is Monday, September 11th, 2017, and your radio hosts today are
Evelyn Simonette
and Robert Fiend. We're reading the news from the Monday Fayetteville Observer. Your weather. Today there will be wind and rain from Irma in the evening. The high will be 74, the low 67. Tuesday will also feature rain from Irma. The high will be 85, the low 67. Wednesday there will be clouds and sun, a thunderstorm. It will be humid with a high of 87 and a low of 67. Thursday there will be clouds and sun, a thunderstorm. It will be humid with a high of 86 and a low of 68. Friday will also feature a high of 86 and a low of 68. It will be humid with clouds and sunshine. The week ahead, Irma will highlight conversation early in the week as rain and blustery winds reach the Cape Fear region through Tuesday. After that, keep an eye on Hurricane Jose, which should be lollygagging in the open Atlantic by then under weak steering conditions. You can follow Chick Jacobs online at FO_weather on Twitter.
Today in history. Today is Monday, September 11th, the 254th day of 2017. There are 111 days left in the year. Today's highlight: on September 11, 2001, nearly 3,000 people were killed as 19 Al-Qaeda hijackers seized control of 4 jetliners, sending 2 of the planes into New York's World Trade Center, 1 into the Pentagon, and the 4th into a field in western Pennsylvania. In 1297, Scottish rebels led by William Wallace and Andrew Moray defeated English troops in the Battle of Stirling Bridge during the First War of Scottish Independence. In 1714, the forces of King Philip V of Spain overcame Catalan defenders to end the 13-month-long siege of Barcelona during the War of the Spanish Succession. In 1789, Alexander Hamilton was appointed the first U.S. Secretary of the Treasury. In 1814, an American fleet scored a decisive victory over the British in the Battle of Lake Champlain in the War of 1812. In 1857, the Mountain Meadows Massacre took place in present-day southern Utah as a 120-member Arkansas Immigrant Party was slaughtered by Mormon militant men aided by Paiute Indians. In 1936, Boulder Dam, now Hoover Dam, began operations as President Franklin D. Roosevelt pressed a key in Washington to signal the startup of the dam's first hydroelectric generator. In 1941, groundbreaking took place for the Pentagon. In a speech that drew accusations of anti-Semitism, Charles A. Lindbergh told an American First rally in Des Moines, Iowa, that the British, the Jewish, and the Roosevelt administration were pushing the United States towards war. In 1954, the Miss America pageant made its network TV debut on ABC. Miss California, Lee Merriweather, was crowned the winner. Birthdays: former Danielle Aka, Democrat of Hawaii, is 93. Movie director Brian De Palma is 77. And singer-actress, dancer Lola Falana is 75. Rock musician Mickey Hart of The Dead is 74 today. Singer-musician Leo Cott is 72. Actor Philip Alford is 69. Actress Amy Madigan is 67. Rock singer-musician Tommy Shaw of Styx is 64 today. Actor Reed Birney is 63. Singer-songwriter Diane Warren is 61. Musician John Marsh of Culture Club is 60. Actor Scott Patterson is 59 today, and actress Roxanne Dawson is 59. Actor John Hawkes is 58. Actress Anne Ramsey is 57. Actress Virginia Madsen is 56. Actress Christy McNichol is 55. Musician, composer Moby is 52. Business reporter Maria Bartiromo is 50. Singer Harry Connick Jr. is 50. And actress Taraji P. Henson is 47 today. Happy birthday, everybody. And we don't have any birthday listeners today.
And need to know, 9/11 observance ceremony. Fort Bragg will have its annual 9/11 Remembrance ceremony at 9 a.m. today at the main post flagpole. Retired General Daniel B. Allen, the former Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, is the guest speaker. There will be a wreath laying, the playing of taps, and performances by the 82nd Airborne Division's All-American Chorus. Road closure. A bridge replacement project will require the North Carolina Department of Transportation to close a road between Pope Mills and Fayetteville. Contractors will replace the 54-year-old bridge on Crystal Springs Road over Buckhead Creek near John Smith Road. Depending on the weather, the road over the bridge will close sometime this week. It is expected to reopen toward the end of the year. The detour will include Camden, Natal, and Cumberland roads. Committee members sought. Harnett County is looking for residents to serve on a committee that will make recommendations for revising the county's animal control ordinance. Its recommendations will be presented to the Harnett County Board of Commissioners for a public hearing and consideration for adoption. Applications are available at harnett.org/boc/downloads/application.pdf should be submitted by 5 p.m. September 22nd. Email them to apeele@harnett.org. That's APEELE @harnett.org, or mail them to P.O. Box 940, Lillington, North Carolina 27546. Deliver them to 200 Alexander Drive in Lillington. Healthy Wednesday. The Murchison Road Community Farmers Market will host the Highlands chapter of the American Red Cross, Fayetteville Fire Department, and the Public Works Commission for a disaster prep day as part of its Healthy Wednesday initiative on Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Bronco Square on Murchison Road. We want to hear from you. Please submit your events in writing at least 10 days in advance. Email calendar at fayobserver.com or fax details to 486-3545. For questions, call 486-3500.
High Point businesses warm to stadium plan. High Point. Jimmy's pizza manager, Litsa Princess, likes the idea of having a stadium built in downtown High Point. She says she believes the stadium would be a great business by attracting more vehicle and pedestrian traffic at the Longtime Pizza Restaurant at 203 North Main Street. I think it would get us more exposure and hopefully bring more visitors to High Point, she said. She's among a handful of businesses in the vicinity who, when asked, say they are excited for the change. Princess added that she's not worried about possible restaurant competition that may stem from the stadium's completion. Jimmy's has been around since 1972, she said. Business-wise, we should always have other places around. It gives people an option to go somewhere else if somebody is busy. As long as it's friendly competition, I think it's good to have, especially for a downtown area. The manager of the Doghouse, Susan Welch, echoed the sentiment. And while she hopes the stadium would bring in more business, she's not pleased by the possibility of new restaurants moving into the area. "We're not worried about competition," she said. "Nobody can beat our hot dogs." The reactions came on the heels of an announcement last week where High Point University President Nito Quivin reported $50 million had been privately raised to buy a baseball team, secure the naming rights for a stadium, and finance related construction projects. Quivin in spring accepted an offer from local nonprofit Forward High Point to lead fundraising and other aspects of the stadium project. Forward High Point's mission is downtown revitalization. At the time he took the reins, Quivin said the Revision and Event Center, Children's Museum, Park, and free educational movie theater to be built around the stadium. In announcing the $50 million last week, Quivin also revealed the BBT Corporation would give an undisclosed amount to that total, will have naming rights to the stadium. Meanwhile, a franchise from the Atlantic League of Professional Baseball Teams plans to relocate a franchise to High Point from its current home in Connecticut by 2019. Welch said she believes the proposed downtown stadium is a phenomenal idea. Nothing that the city of High Point needs more activity downtown. Noting that the city of High Point needs more activity downtown. "This is going to be great for the city of High Point," she said. Erin Patton, owner of Elm Street Cafe at 114 North Main Street, said he wonders if the proposed stadium would benefit his lunchtime business since most games tend to be played at night. However, he supports the plan as a whole to locate a stadium downtown. "I think it's going to be nice," Patton said. "It will bring more population and maybe more business. Of course, hotels probably will get busy around this area. I think it's a good idea so far. It's looking good and will probably help everybody." So now restaurant and deli owner Muhammad Kakal said he'll believe the downtown stadium project could benefit his business at 805 North Main Street. "I think it's a good thing, so I'm for it," Kakal said. As far as increased competition for customers, Cash, he added, "I never worry about the competition. I focus on what I do. I think my business would do better, actually." Voter question of the week. Election 2017. Got a question you want candidates to answer? Send it to news@fayettevilleobserver.com. Subject line, candidate question. Include your name, which we will publish if we pick your question, and your street address, which we won't publish, but will use to verify the district where you live. Voter question of the week. Each week we choose a question from a reader and pose it to the candidates running in municipal races in Cumberland County. Gordon Johnson asked, recently the City Council and Greater Fayetteville Chamber have been promoting Hire Fayetteville First to show their support for our local businesses. If elected, how will you follow through with this pledge to make sure our local tax dollars are spent at local businesses? We sent the question to candidates in council districts 2 and 5, as well as the mayoral candidates. Their responses. Top row, Mitch Colvin, Kirk DeVerde, Quonset Gribble, and Nat Robinson. Middle row, George Butterfly, Lynn Brown, Dan Cullerton, Linda L. Miller, Paul Taylor, Tyrone Williams, John Dawkins, Hannah Eldridge, Tommy Macon, Henry Tyson, and Paul Williams are all photographed in the article. And the responses are as follows. They're unedited, Races with more than 2 candidates will be on the primary ballot on October 10th. Fayetteville mayoral candidates Mitch Colvin. The Hire Fayetteville First initiative was a great first step toward keeping our taxpayer dollars local. However, the policies were never funded or practiced in any meaningful way by the city. On March 14, 2016, as Mayor Pro Tem, I called a special meeting of council to ask for a truly commit the city to these efforts. The resolution passed unanimously 10-0. This allowed the council to ask our local state delegation for permission to implement the new policy. I worked with Senator Ben Clark to introduce a local bill that became law this year. As mayor, I will work to encourage all of our community stakeholders to adopt similar practices and policies. The collective buying power of Cumberland County Public Works Commission and Cape Fear Valley is tremendous. A simple policy change will keep millions, if not billions, of dollars in our local economy, thus creating thousands of jobs for our citizens. Kirk DeVere. I will work to introduce more proactive and robust ways we can reach and educate our local businesses about these business opportunities. The city can partner with local business organizations to create a biannual contracting event where departments can outline their upcoming opportunities. Further expansion of this event can be achieved by inviting the county, PwC, Cape Fear Valley Health, FSU, Methodist University, and FTCC to participate. Additionally, we can provide available resources at the event that will help businesses with qualification preparation and introduce them to other local businesses for partnership on contracts. Fayetteville does not currently have a database or system to track the type, female, minority, majority, and veteran of local businesses. We should use the full capacities of Match Force, a web-based tool already provided to the city by local technology company AIT, to assist in this process and ensure we have measurable results so that we can hold ourselves accountable. Quindine Gribble. As the new mayor, I will promote Hire Fayetteville First by making sure that our local business have registered the city of Fayetteville, are notified through an email, text alert, and postcard in the mail to ensure that businesses will be knowledgeable of the opportunities that are available. I would have a monthly program that will with the different organizations who host events for business owners who are registered with them to make sure their businesses are receiving the information for bid opportunities. Last but not least, I will reach out to small businesses and existing businesses to make sure they are listed on the City of Fayetteville roster for bid opportunities. In addition to this, I will make sure this information is on the City of Fayetteville website as well as posted in the Fayetteville Observer. In order for this to work, there will be constant communication. Nat Robertson. I was intimately involved with the recent General Assembly action that loosened the law allowing Fayetteville to put a greater weight on choosing local vendors to award city contracts. This leads the way in strengthening our locally veteran and minority-owned businesses as classified by the federal government. More money spent locally means more business, more jobs, more growth, lower unemployment, and less crime. City Council District 2. George Butterfly, candidate, did not provide a response. Lynn Brown. The question deals with the essential part of the economic challenge in Fayetteville, but not the entire problem. I found as an employer that the availability of jobs is not the remedy. Many of the current openings are for people with both mid-level and special skills not generally found in the current pool of applicants in and around the Fayetteville, Cumberland County area. Opportunity exists in the construction trades, in the computer and Wi-Fi technical fields. Frankly, I would like to revive the practice of teaching carpentry, bricklaying, and auto mechanics in high schools. It was a much more efficient practice than the community college approach that requires a 1 or 2 year lag time before the student makes any money. When a student can walk out of high school into an $18 to $35 per hour situation, he has a decent chance in completing and avoids the student's loan trap. Dan Cullerton. As a council member, I will support the bold steps taken by the previous council that were put in contract requirements in the policy statement. I will also work continuously to encourage hiring Fayetteville first, as well as working to encourage percentage of minority participation. Further, I will always look to comply to state and federal contract laws already in place. For the local contracts that do not require bids, I will look to promote local businesses to be hired in order to secure those available contracts. I would also look to ensure regular classes and assess the online resources so that local contractors can learn how these bid processes work in an attempt to level the playing field. I will always support initiatives that look to grow local small businesses. Ted Donovan, candidate, did not provide a response. Kia Henry, candidate, did not provide a response. Linda L. Miller. The city recently provides education on the technicalities of becoming a vendor with the city, to include such things as completing paperwork properly and becoming certified as a disadvantaged business enterprise, DBE. Perhaps the missing link is ensuring that locally owned businesses have more readily accessible information regarding what the city procures and how contracts are awarded. The publication of upcoming bid opportunities needs to include a broader audience. I would recommend including a quarterly booklet outlining all upcoming bid opportunities that is distributed through all local print publications, local libraries, and provided at higher Fayetteville first classes. Further, the city can partnership with local chapters of professional associations to ensure that information regarding relevant contracts are made available to local professionals capable of fulfilling the needs of the city. John Mulvaney, candidate, did not provide a response. Paul Taylor, we as leaders will need to leverage the tools to maximize small business jobs creations in our city. These are some of my ideas that we should look at. Create a comprehensive small business plan connected to city economic assets. Expand contracting opportunities for small businesses so that they can compete on city contracts with government. Design workforce programs for small businesses and train new employees, especially those with barriers to employment. Join resources and ease regulations by mapping and making more accessible the resources that already exist. Upgrade the city business environment by improving infrastructure and neighborhood amenities to support small business growth. Establish a small business owner program by hiring from within the business, but do not limit small business from hiring quality candidates. We live here. We pay taxes here. Tyrone A. Williams, candidate, did not provide a response. City Council District 5, Johnny Dawkins. As a former chairman of the board of Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce and as a local business leader for over 35 years, I have the experience and provision to promote and encourage our city and our businesses to hire Fayetteville first. Plus, we have to continue to reinforce our citizens of the importance to shop Fayetteville first. So those dollars stay in Fayetteville. When businesses hire Fayetteville first, those businesses create more jobs. When we shop Fayetteville first, those dollars spent will circulate in Fayetteville, and those dollars will allow the multiplier effect of spending money to occur locally right here in Fayetteville. A dollar spent in Fayetteville will turn over or multiply to benefit our businesses and our employees. Our city government will also benefit through increased sales tax revenue. Hannah Henry. We rise together. In local hiring, the city provides opportunities, guidelines, and training. And our businesses bring the entrepreneurial drive. Hire Fayetteville first is one way City Council nourishes the Fayetteville business community. This is a real step forward to invest in our city retailers, entrepreneurs, and workers. I will work to create school-to-professional pipelines and partnerships between our workforce and strong business sectors. And I will be proactive and fair at helping interested businesses meet city contracting guidelines by working within city departments and with the chamber and business community. We will focus on keeping young people, professionals, and skilled trades here in Fayetteville. We can embrace innovation in solar with impressive job creation results already in Cumberland County and open new market for small business opportunity by meeting the demand for commercial recycling. I love hashtag buy local and hashtag shop small and embrace hometown business growth with all my heart. Tommy Macon, candidate, did not provide a response. Henry Tyson, according to the city's budget data, out of $65.7 million worth of city expenditures in the last fiscal year, just more than a third was spent here in Fayetteville area. Roughly half of the city's tax dollars spent go to vendors out of state. That's unacceptable, but this is an issue where the city is bound by state law. Our leaders in Raleigh can make and have made it easier for the city to ensure infrastructure projects are hiring local workers and using local job creators. Initiatives like Hire Fayetteville First are a great start, but I will continue advocating for local businesses to be involved in city projects and encourage our legislative delegation to allow us to use local job creators as much as possible. Paul A. Williams. Fayetteville City Council is known by most local businesses as being anti-business due to the regulations imposed on the business community. Buy Fayetteville First goes against the free market principle. Low bidder gets the job. Anything less, taxpayers will bear the burden of the extra costs.
Region could see gusts over 40 miles per hour. Portions of the Cape Fear region have been placed under a wind advisory for today as Hurricane Irma flings squalls and rain hundreds of miles from its Florida landfall. The National Weather Service issued an inland wind advisory for Bladen, Columbus, Cumberland, Hoke, Moore, Robinson, and Scotland counties. Gusts could top 40 miles per hour through this afternoon. Winds should increase across the region during the day as Irma continues to move north. The heart of the storm is expected to travel into northern Georgia, weakening along the way. In preparation for the storm, a number of Cape Fear region school systems have altered their schedules. Bladen County schools will be closed for students today, and there will be an optional workday for teachers. Robinson County schools will have an early release for their students at 12 p.m. today. In Scotland County, school will be held during normal hours, but after-school activities and events planned for today are postponed, including the Board of Education meeting. Fayetteville and Fort Bragg will experience sustained winds of up to 25 miles per hour with gusts above 30 miles per hour. The winds will continue through tonight into Tuesday as high pressure to the north creates a gradient that funnels wind through the region. Showers should move into the region from the east today, just after sunrise. Showers will be light throughout the day, increasing after sundown. Fayetteville can expect about 1.5 inches of rain, but more along the tracks of heavier showers. The risk of severe weather is low, with afternoon temperatures lingering in the mid-70s. Showers will dwindle later Tuesday as the storm moves away. Wednesday should be pleasant, but a few lingering showers and a high in the low 80s. By that time, the future path of Hurricane Jose, lingering off the southeast coast, should be more clear. The National Hurricane Center forecast Jose to take a long, slow loop off the coast before being pulled out to sea. However, steering currents after midweek remain uncertain. Temperatures through next week should warm into the mid-80s across the region, with a chance of showers each afternoon. For the latest and weather updates, follow Chick Jacobs online at FO_weather on Twitter. For the latest and weather updates, follow Chick Jacobs online at FO_weather on Twitter, and staff writer Chick Jacobs can be reached by calling 486-3515 or by emailing cjacobe@fayobserver.com.
Inside politics, court order lets electoral board do job. An order from the North Carolina Supreme Court this month reactivated the Cumberland County Board of Elections, which has been shut down for months. The county's elections office and its professional staff have not stopped working, but the 4-seat board that oversees the office was unable to do business because 2 of its 4 seats are vacant. State law says the board can't do business without a quorum of at least 3 of its members, and that meant that the staff could not get legal guidance or permission from the board to do some of the things necessary to conduct the municipal elections this fall for Fayetteville, Hope Mills, Spring Lake, Eastover, and the other towns in Cumberland County. The 2 vacant seats on the Board of Elections aren't being filled because they are trapped in an ongoing legal battle and power struggle between Democratic Governor Roy Cooper and the Republican-controlled North Carolina General Assembly. The legislature has been passing laws that take power and authority away from the governor, and the governor has been suing to try to overturn them. One of the new laws affects appointments to county election boards. Appointments have ceased while case moves through the courts. Election boards in some other counties across the state were also stemmed by the legal impasse. The Supreme Court recognized the situation will impair the fall election, so Associate Justice Mike Gordon issued an order on September 1st that says local election boards with just 2 members can conduct business. Their votes have to be unanimous to take effect, he said. In Cumberland County, the 2 board of election members are Republican Kevin Hite and Democrat Harvey Butch Rayner. The board's next meeting is Thursday, September 14th. Elections Director Terry Robertson said it needs to approve the precinct officials who will work at the polls and set meeting times to review absentee ballots returned by the voters, she said. Voter registration deadlines. The deadline to register to vote on October 10th, Election Day in Fayetteville City Council, is Friday, September 15th. Those that miss this deadline can register and cast ballots immediately during the early voting period, which is September 21st through October 7th. Appointments. State Representative Elmer Floyd of Fayetteville, William Brisson of Bladen County, David Lewis of Dunn, and Ken Goodman of Rockingham have been appointed to the House Select Committee on Judicial Redistricting. The committee is meeting this month to consider a dramatic revision to the districts from which District Court and Superior Court are elected. In Cumberland County, the proposed district could force some judges out of office and likely will make it easier for Republicans to get elected and harder for Democrats. Lloyd Bryson and Goodman are Democrats. Lewis is a Republican. Bryson also was appointed to the House Select Committee to investigate Gen X in the Cape Fear River. Similarly, Republican State Senator Brent Jackson of Sampson County was appointed to the Senate Select Committee on North Carolina River water quality. Gen X is a chemical that has contaminated the Cape Fear River, creating fear of the safety of drinking water for communities downstream. It came from the Chemours Company Fayetteville Works plant in Bladen County. Campaign events. District 6 City Council candidate Tony Stewart will hold a meet and greet at noon Saturday, September 16th at the West Regional Branch Library located at 7469 Century Circle in Fayetteville. Fayetteville mayoral candidate Mitch Colvin is holding a meet and greet with Sam the Rib Man Royal at noon on Saturday, September 16th at 6606 Carloway Drive in Fayetteville. Colvin is the District 3 City Councilman and Mayor Pro Tem. Fayetteville mayoral candidate Kirk DeVere is holding a Just the Women event at 3 p.m. Saturday, September 16th at Taste of West African Restaurant located at 116 Person Street in Fayetteville. This is a women-only event hosted by Jenny DeVerde, former Councilwoman Val Applewhite, WIDU Sandy Cookman, and the Reverend Felicia Thompson of Simon Chapel. Club meetings. Fayetteville Republican Women's Club at 5:30 p.m. Thursday, September 14th. Super King Buffet located at 515 North McPherson Street Road. Speakers: Fayetteville Mayor Nat Robertson, Fayetteville Police Chief Gina Hawkins. Cost $15. Moore County Republican Men's Club meet at 11:30 a.m. Monday, September 18. The speakers will be former North Carolina Secretary of Commerce John Scavarla and Claire Rules of Northern Moore County Family Services. The cost will be $20. Reservations are required no later than Thursday, September 14th. You can call 910-949-4250. Send political news and announcements to Inside Politics at FayeObserver.com.
Pray for everyone. Hurricane Irma hit state from coast to coast by Jennifer Kay and Frida Rosario, the Associated Press, Miami. Hurricane Irma gave Florida a coast-to-coast pummeling with winds up to 113 miles per hour Sunday, swamping homes and boats, knocking out power to millions, and toppling massive construction cranes over the Miami skyline. The 400-mile-wide storm blew ashore in the morning in the mostly cleared-out Florida Keys, then began a slow march up the state's west coast, its punishing winds extending clear across to Miami and West Palm Beach on the Atlantic side. Irma was expected to hit the heavily populated Tampa, St. Petersburg area early Monday, though in a much weakened state. While it arrived in Florida a Category 4 hurricane, by nightfall it was down to a Category 2 with winds of 105 miles per hour. Pray for everybody in Florida, Governor Rick Scott said on Fox News Sunday as more than 160,000 people statewide waited it out in shelters. There were no immediate confirmed reports of any deaths in Florida, in addition to the 24 people killed during Irma's destructive trek across the Caribbean. Many streets were flooded in downtown Miami and other cities. In the low-lying Keys, where a storm surge of over 10 feet was recorded, appliances and furniture was seen floating away. A Monroe County spokeswoman, Cammie Clark, said the ocean waters were filled with navigation hazards, including sunken boats and loose vessels. But the full extent of Irma's wrath there was not clear. A Miami woman who went into labor was guided through delivery by phone when authorities couldn't reach her because of high winds and street flooding. Firefighters later took her to the hospital. An apparent tornado spun off by Irma destroyed 6 mobile homes in Palm Bay midway up the Atlantic coast. Flooding was reported along Interstate 4, which cuts across Florida's midsection. In downtown Miami, 2 of the 24 construction cranes looming over the skyline collapsed into wind. No injuries were reported, and city officials said it would have taken about 2 weeks to move the massive equipment. Curfews were imposed in Miami, Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, and much of the rest of South Florida. Some arrests of violators were reported. Miami Beach barred outsiders from the island. Fort Lauderdale police arrested 9 people they said were caught on TV cameras looting sneakers and other items from a sporting goods store and a pawn shop during the hurricane. At least 3.3 million homes and businesses across the state lost power, and utility officials said it will take weeks to restore electricity to everyone. While Irma raked Florida's Gulf Coast, forecasters warned that the entire state, including the Miami metropolitan area of 6 million people, was in danger because of the sheer size of the storm. Nearly 7 million people in the southeast were warned to evacuate, including 6.4 million in Florida alone. About 30,000 people heeded orders to leave the Keys as the storm closed in, but an untold number refused, in part because the many storm-hardened residents staying behind in the face of danger is a point of pride. John Huston, who stayed in his Key Largo home, watched as it flood even before the arrival of high tide. Small boats floating down the street next to furniture and refrigerators, very noisy, he said by text message. Shingles are coming off. Irma made landfall just after 9 a.m. at Coogee Key, about 20 miles outside Key West. During the afternoon, it rounded Florida's southwestern corner and hugged the coast closely as it pushed toward Naples, Sanibel, Fort Myers, and beyond that, Sarasota at 14 miles per hour. Forecasters warned some places could see a storm surge of up to 15 feet of water. Gretchen Lee, who moved with her husband to Naples from Long Island, New York, after Superstorm Sandy in 2012 heavily damaged her beach home, took cover in a hotel room as Irma raged. I said, "Let's go and live the good life in paradise," she said. And here we are. Some 400 miles north of the Keys, people in the Tampa, St. Petersburg area started bracing for the onslaught. The Tampa Bay area, with its population of about 3 million, has not taken a direct hit from a major hurricane since 1921.
Our obituaries for today, the death notices. The following deaths have been reported. You can see the upcoming edition of the Fayetteville Observer for the complete obituary information. In Cumberland County, Josephine, Miss Joe, Clemo, 88 of Fayetteville, Jernigan Warren Funeral Home will be handling her services. Alice Murphy Morris, 86 of Fayetteville, Jernigan Warren Funeral Home will be handling the services. Reverend Kenneth Crumpler Sr., 60 of Fayetteville, Weissman Mortuary will be handling the services. Cape Fear, in the Cape Fear region, Anita Ann Bray, 60, of Dover, Delaware, formerly of Wade Herring Funeral Care and Cremations, will be handling the services. Jeananne Marshall, 57, of Roseboro, Butler and Son Funeral Home of Roseboro, will be handling the services. William Bethune, 85, of Southern Pines, Simon Funeral Home will be handling the services of Southern Pines. David C. BB, 61, of Hubert, Unity Funeral Services will be handling the services. Funerals today will be Eula McKeithen, 75, of Fayetteville. It will be held at 12 p.m. at the Second Missionary Baptist Church. The burial will be at Northside Cemetery, and Weissman Mortuary will be handling the services. In Cumberland County, William Bill Davis Jr., 66, of Fayetteville, passed away at home on Friday, September 8, 2017. A funeral service is scheduled for 10 a.m. on Wednesday, September 13, 2017, in the chapel of Sullivan's Highland Funeral Service. Burial will be immediately following at the Lafayette Memorial Park West. The family will receive friends from 6 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, September 12, 2017, at Sullivan Highlands Funeral Service. You can present your condolences online at sullivanhighland.com. Services are entrusted to Sullivan Highland Funeral Service and Crematory. Angelo Michael Earhart Locke, 63, of Fayetteville, died Friday, September 8, 2017. Memorial will be held Wednesday at 6 p.m. at Jernigan Warren Funeral Home. Visitation will be at the funeral home on Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Jernigan Warren Funeral Home will be handling the services. Marva M. Coffey, 77, of Fayetteville, died Tuesday, September 5, 2017. Funeral will be held on Tuesday at noon at Bethel AME Zion Church in Spring Lake. The viewing will be at the church Tuesday at 11 a.m. to noon. The burial will be at Sand Hills State Veterans Cemetery in Fort Bragg. Services will be conducted by the Weissman Mortuary. Edgar Eston Linkus Jr., 90, of Stedman, died Saturday, September 9, 2017. A memorial service will be held at a later date. Butler Funeral Home will be handling services. That's Butler Funeral Home of Stedman. Wanda Melvin Watkins, 82, of Fayetteville, died Sunday, September 10th. The funeral will be Wednesday at 1 p.m. at Windsor United Methodist Church. Visitation will be at the church on Wednesday at 11 a.m. to noon. Burial will be at the Lafayette Memorial Park. Butler Funeral Home of Stedman will be handling the services.
Millie Grant. Make the most of your second chance.
Robert Wayne Hedgeman, Sr., 83, of Lumberton, died Saturday, September 9, 2017. The funeral will be held Tuesday at 2 p.m. at East Lumberton Baptist Church. Visitation will be at the East Lumberton Baptist Church on Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. The burial will be at Gardens of Faith Cemetery in Lumberton. Floyd Mortuary and Cemetery and Crematory of Lumberton will be handling the service. Bertha Mae Ferris Rollins, 65, of Laurel Hill, died Saturday, September 9, 2017. The funeral will be held on Wednesday at 2 p.m. at Richard Bowles Funeral Service Chapel. Visitation will be at the funeral home on Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Burial will be at King Cemetery. Richard Bowles Funeral Service. Jason Tony Efford, 77, of Clarkton, died Saturday, September 9, 2017. Tuesday, the funeral will be Tuesday at 11 a.m. at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Whitefield. Visitation will be at the Worthington Funeral Home on Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Burial will be at the church cemetery. And Worthington Funeral Home will be handling the services. Teresa Hall, 87th, of Elizabethtown, died Monday, September 4, 2017. Funeral will be Tuesday at 3 p.m. at Mount Nebro Church. The burial will be at the church cemetery. Johnson's Funeral Service and Trinity Funeral Home of Perry, Florida.
Billy Graham, make the most of your second chance and give thanks to God. H.L. writes, last year I had a major heart attack and I told God that if He'd let me live, I'd straighten up my life and start doing what's right. But I have to admit I haven't kept my end of the bargain. Do you think God is going to punish me for this? Billy Graham answers, when God spared you, you were given another opportunity to change the direction of your life, become the person God created you to be. I pray you won't take this lightly, because you don't know what the future holds, and someday it may be too late. And don't be like the man in Jesus' parable who decided to forget about God and spend the rest of the years of his life living only for himself. He had accumulated great wealth, and he had more than enough money to spend the rest of his days in luxury and pleasure. Why not enjoy life and forget everything else, including God? But he was wrong. God said to him, you fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Luke chapter 12, verse 20. And then it was too late for him to begin living for God instead of himself. Do I say this to frighten you? No, that isn't my goal, although I hope you will take Jesus' parable seriously. My goal instead is to urge you to pause and thank God for sparing your life, and then to repent of your sins and put Christ first in your life. Why gamble with your soul? But I also pray you will discover the joy and peace that come to us when we follow Christ. The world offers us happiness, but its promises are false. God loves you, and life's greatest joy comes from knowing Him. Jesus' words are true. My peace I give you. John chapter 14, verse 27. Readers can write to the Reverend Billy Graham and to Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, 1 Billy Graham Parkway, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28201, or by calling 877-2-GRAHAM. The website for the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association is at billygraham.org. And this article comes from Tribune Media Services.
Dear Abby, herpes infection keeps a lonely woman on the dating sidelines. Dear Abby, I'm a 65-year-old woman, attractive and lonely. I'm uncomfortable using dating sites because I have genital herpes. I was infected by my first husband more than 40 years ago. If I were to meet someone on one of those sites, when would be the right time to reveal my problem? After we have gotten to know each other, or should I be upfront? about it and say something when we first meet. I am naturally afraid of condemnation and or contempt. Unsure in New York. Dear Unsure, herpes is an infection, not a scarlet letter. Many people carry the virus, and a surprising number of them are not aware they have it and can infect others. In fact, according to the American Sexual Health Association, 1 in 6 individuals in the United States between the ages of 14 and 49 has genital herpes. That's HSV-2. Because you are hesitant about when to reveal your status, please visit the ASHA website, ashasexualhealth.org. You will find it informative. It includes a section on relationships, suggestions about when to tell someone, how to talk to a partner, reactions to expect. Another website has been mentioned in my column before is hdate.com. It offers a free dating service through which thousands of men and women meet. Many nice, eligible people just like you, have herpes and live happy lives. I hope you will check it out. Dear Abby, I recently moved to a new area of my state. I like the environment, the cost of living, etc. But there's one problem I don't know how to address. The people here share far too much information with strangers in everyday conversation. I think there should be some boundaries and limits on what is said in public. While I was waiting to ask a sales clerk a question, the person ahead of me in line described her entire medical history in detail. She went on and on and on. There are times I can't get through a store without someone asking me question after question. They just look for that opening and start throwing questions at me. I believe in being polite, so I have reached the point of just nodding my head or responding with yes or no most of the time. It's really off-putting. A lot of these people need to back off. Needs boundaries in the South. Needs boundaries. Many people ask questions as a way to start a conversation because they are interested in you or are lonely. Because you consider their questions invasive and you need boundaries, you will have to set them. A way to do that would be to tell the questioner that the query is a personal one and you prefer not to share that kind of information with strangers. Readers can write to Dear Abby at dearabby.com or P.O. Box 69440, Los Angeles, California 90069, Universal Euclid.
Horoscope by Stella Wilder. Born today, you have a few unusual traits that can keep you at the fore under the critical and often admiring eyes of those around you for much of your life. You're not one to do things the usual way. The truth is that you plan your endeavors carefully. Virgo, August 23rd through September 22nd. You may have more than one theory to explain certain goings-on, but it's likely that the evidence will point to only one. That must be it. Libra, September 23rd through October 22nd. You want to take certain steps to prevent something from taking hold of you that would surely cause a significant delay. Scorpio, October 23rd through November 21st. You want to see more of your surroundings than you are currently allowed, but freeing yourself up may prove more difficult than expected. Sagittarius, November 22nd through December 21st. You'll be registering sounds and colors more acutely than usual. The result will have you conjuring up more than one good new idea. Capricorn, December 22nd through January 19th. You're trying to force something that needs to happen organically. Try stepping back a bit and letting things develop on their own. Aquarius, January 20th through February 18th, you will feel more comfortable in a new environment than you did in one that was quite familiar. This may not be permanent, however. Pisces, February 19th through March 20th. Someone may not appreciate your attempts to force an agreement between conflicting parties. An agreement must be forged. Aries, March 21st through April 19th. You'll want to set aside some time to do something with a family member who has felt recently that your relationship has changed. Taurus, April 20th through May 20th. The quality of your work must not suffer just because you are trying to up the quantity of your output. Excellence is a key goal. Gemini, May 21st through June 20th. You're likely to learn a thing or two about how something is done. That doesn't mean you're ready to give it a try just yet. Cancer, June 21st through July 22nd. Where two are concerned, an agreement can easily be reached, but if you add a third, you have to work harder in all aspects. Leo, July 23rd through August 22nd. You may have a hard time wrapping your head around an idea that someone brings to you until you realize what it can do for you. Copyright 2017 United Feature Syndicate.
Support groups on Monday. Celebrate Recovery meets from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Aaron Lake Baptist Church, located at 1130 Bingham Drive. It's a multi-denominational meeting, Christ-based 12-step program. Can include PTSD, depression, abuse, drugs, alcohol, and more. You can give them a call at 424-7211 or call John at 723-2319. Suicide Grief Support Group meets at 6:30 p.m. at the Manor Church, located at 5117 Cliffdale Road, Building A, for those who are grieving the loss of a relative, friend, co-worker, or loved one from suicide. You can give them a call at 910-302-8548. The Tia Hart Community Recovery Program meets from 7 to 8 p.m. located at 116 E. Elwood Avenue in Rayford. You can call them at 848-1872. Al-Anon meets from at 7 p.m. at the Haymont United Baptist Church Youth Activity Center, located at 1900 Fort Bragg Road. You can give them a call at 678-8002. Divorce Care meets from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the Manor Church, located at 5117 Cliffdale Road. You can call Tim or Tracy at 892-5439. In Christ We Do Recover meets from 8 to 9 p.m. in an open meeting at Hope Harbor Christian Mission on US 301 South Service Road. The meeting is for chemical dependency. You can talk to Rudy at 423-0608 or 424-8800, extension 272. Alcoholics Anonymous meet at 7 a.m., noon, 5:30, 8, 11 p.m. at 626 Sandalwood Drive. And again at 8:30 a.m. at 521 Hillsborough Street, and at 10:30 a.m. at 40 Marion Road in Lumberton. At noon at Holy Trinity Episcopal Church at 1601 Rayford Road. And at noon, 5:30 p.m. at 8 p.m. at 604 German Street. And at noon at MT 2357 Quartermasters on Fort Bragg. At noon and 6:30 p.m. they meet at 401 East 1st Street in Lumberton. And at 6:30 p.m. they meet at Highland Presbyterian Church, located at 111 Highland Avenue. At 6:30 p.m. they meet at the Mayover Reese, located at 560 Wilkes Road. At 7 p.m., they meet at 1241 Pine Knoll Drive in Spring Lake. And at 7 p.m., the United Methodist Church, located at 4624 Campground Road. And at 8 p.m., they meet at United Methodist Church at 4955 Legion Road in Hope Mills. At 8 p.m., they meet at Manor Church in room 215, located at 5117 Cliffdale Road. The hotlines are 678-8733 or 678-8002. And that information was updated on 8/6/2015. Recovery in Action, 8 p.m. at the Manor Church, located at 5117 Cliffdale Road. You can call them at 867-9151. The Landing for Teens. Meet teens aged 13 to 18 seeking healing from their hurts, hang-ups, and habits. They meet from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Aaron Lake Baptist Church Family Life Center, located at 1130 Bingham Drive. Narcotics Anonymous. To find weekly meetings, times, and locations, call 866-418-9500 or go to crna.org. People Assisting Victims meet at 7:30 p.m. at the Cumberland Community Foundation Building on Green Street. Sex Addicts Anonymous. To find meeting times and locations, call 800-477-8191. Take Off Pounds Sensibly. Meet at 5:30 p.m. at the First Baptist Church, located at 202 Summit Drive in Sanford. You can call them at 800-932-8677 or go online at tops.org. TOPS.org. Autism Society of Cumberland County's High Functioning Autism Support Group. Meet at 5:45 p.m. Dorothy Spanauer School, Hull Road. Located on Hull Road, you can call them at 826-3005 or online at autismcc.org. That's autismcc.org for families of children, adolescents, and adults with HFA or Asperger's syndrome. Fibromyalgia meets at 4 p.m. at Southeastern Lifestyle Center for Fitness and Rehabilitation, located at 4895 Fayetteville Road in Lumberton. Registration is required by calling 735-2830 or emailing loclc06@srmc.org. And that's it for support groups.
Elderly couple dies just hours apart by Jenny Drabble, Winston-Salem Journal, Elkin. After learning her husband of 70 years had died, Rachel Holcomb told a nurse, "My husband passed away today, but it's all going to be okay." A few hours later, she died peacefully in her sleep. To have spent 70 years married and then to die so close together, I thought it was beautiful, said their daughter, Jewel Park. It was a tale of love only Nicholas Sparks could have concocted, as James, 97, and Rachel Holcomb, 89, of Elkin, who spent most of their lives together, died about 12 hours apart on July 26th and 27th. They hadn't seen each other in a week as Rachel was being treated for pneumonia at Chatham Rehabilitation Center in Elkin, and James, who had dementia, was at home with family. Parks and her dad would ask where his wife went. He didn't believe family members when they told him she was at the hospital. He thought she had already passed away, Park said. They were holding on for each other, Park said. My dad could not stand for her to be out of his sight. When my dad thought she was gone, he felt like he could go too. The couple met in the 1940s and had been together ever since. The day James came home from World War II, his father took him to Mount Airy to buy him a suit, not knowing that mundane task would change his son's life. In pursuit of a necktie to match, James stopped at J.C. Penney in Elkin while his father went to town to pay some bills. Rachel was working at the store counter. She went home and told her mom she'd met a single guy and she didn't know a thing about him, but if he asked her out, she'd give him a date, Park said. My dad told us years later that he never did like that necktie, but he liked the girl. The two went on a double date with some mutual friends, and the rest is history. They were married in May of 1947. James went to college and became a teacher and later principal in Wilkes, Yadkin, and Surrey County schools for 36 years. Rachel became a stay-at-home mom after the birth of her 4 children. Randall Holcomb, Wanda Kennedy, Angela Townsend, and Jewel Park, all of whom were now married. Park and her husband, Benny Park, had been married for 46 years, he said, a testament to her upbringing and a shadow of her parents' love. Every morning, he kissed her goodbye and left for work, and every evening, he kissed her hello, Park said. My dad always said he married the most beautiful girl in the country. We come from a long line of love. James, born in 1920, was stern but loving and an active member of Little Elkin Baptist Church, their oldest daughter, Kennedy, said. Rachel, born in 1927, was the perfect mother, meticulously organized and always there when her kids needed her. They were always loving, wonderful, kind people to everyone, said Kennedy, who had been married for 49 years. You could always see their love for each other and for the family. A joint funeral was held for the couple on July 29th with full military honors and the presence of their family members. The couple had 4 children, 5 grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren. While her parents spent the last week of their lives apart, Park said they will spend eternity hand in hand. I know they are in heaven together. My daddy has his mind back, and my mom has her health, and they have each other, she said. How much more wonderful could heaven be?
Storm evacuees find fun at last day of county fair. Among the hundreds of families having fun on the last day of the Cumberland County Fair were some who were trying not to think about home. I'm running from Irma, said Yvonne Beavers, who lives in Savannah, Georgia. She is staying with her cousin Deborah Anderson in Fayetteville for the duration of the storm, which was grinding across Florida on Sunday. They both came to the fair Sunday afternoon to spend time with one another and keep Beaver's mind off Irma. God's going to take care of us, Beaver said. He has me covered. Whatever is not well, he can make right. Beverly Williams, who also lives in Savannah, picked Fayetteville as an inland escape because she is familiar with the area. The military brought her here many years ago. She says she decided to check out the fair while here. I'm not nervous, Williams said about Irma. I just didn't want to be there when the storm hit. Fair manager Hubert Bullard said she considers this year's fair a success despite rain on a couple of evenings and the hurricane threat. It's just been a great week. Bullard said, we were afraid with the hurricane that we weren't going to be able to be here. Bullard didn't have fair assistance numbers available Sunday evening, but she said they were about the same as last year. The fair started September 1st at the Crown. This fair is growing some every year because of the fair's options, Bullard said. We have great entertainment. Some of the new attractions this year included a bike show, a lion and tiger show, and the helicopter flights provided by Carolina Helicopter Tours. Laura Bureau, brought her 9-year-old grandson Avery to the fair Sunday afternoon and rode in the helicopter. I liked it, Cougar said. He wasn't quite sure. Jenny McKethan also brought along some youngsters, her 2 sons. Her favorite part was the funnel cake. I haven't been to the fair since I was a kid, and I wanted to take the little ones, McKethan said.
Viceroy's House, a refresher course on the partition of India by Stephanie Mary, The Washington Post. Viceroy's House is a bit like Downtown Abbey, only set in Delhi against the backdrop of India's independence from English colonial rule. The most obvious similarity is that Hugh Bonneville, Downton's Earl of Grantham, plays the aristocratic lead here. Lord Louis Mountbatten, 1900-1979, the last Viceroy of India. Mountbatten's mission was to hand the country back to its people in 1947. But first he had to deal with partitioning the nation to create Pakistan. Like Downtown Abbey, the story is also told from the perspective of the people working within the grandiose manns of the title, a residence that, as one character notes, makes Buckingham Palace look like a bungalow. This history has personal significance, as it turns out for director Gurinder Chadha, Bandit Like Beckham, Bride and Prejudice, who wrote the story with Nora Buffini and Paul Mayeda Burgess. The most emotional part of the movie is the revelation, coming just before the end credits, that Chadha's Indian grandmother was a refugee whose baby girl starved to death after the partition. Mountbatten's less privileged counterpart is Jeet Kumar, played by Manish Dayal, a Hindu former police chief who has come to Delhi to work as one of the Viceroy's personal attendants. He immediately runs into Ayala, played by Huma Qureshi, a Muslim woman he has long loved. Just as they began to rekindle their relationship, Ayala's betrothed, an Indian soldier fighting abroad, reappears. This subplot should be the heart and soul of the movie, but the love triangle isn't nearly as engaging as the political maneuvering. To its credit, the movie accomplishes a difficult task, making sense of a complicated period in history. Strapped for cash after the war, the British were desperate to extricate themselves from their colonial obligations without letting their reputation suffer. At the same time, violence between Muslims and Hindus was exploding across India. In the film, Mountbatten finds himself stuck between Muhammad Ali Jinnah, played by Denzel Smith, the head of the All India Muslim League, who advocated for the creation of Pakistan as a separate Muslim state, and Jawaharlal Nehru, played by Tanveer Ghani, the first Prime Minister of India, who wanted to keep the nation intact. The occasional fake news reel helps fill in gaps left by otherwise artful expository dialogue. Mountbatten and his wife Edwina, a wonderful Gillian Anderson, are portrayed as unusually progressive, even by today's standards, while other British politicos throw out casually racist comments. In one scene, as workers stand at attention nearby, the Mountbattens are anachronistically open-minded. Edwina visits the cooks in the kitchen, although she's told it's unorthodox, and immediately fires a British employee who makes an insensitive comment. When the city is on the verge of riots, the couple leaves the safety of their palatial home to hand out food and water. It's all a bit much. Chadha uses the same heavy hand in the melodrama between Jeet and Ayala, whose already complicated relationship is compounded by their different religions. Qureshi doesn't get to do much acting beyond looking perpetually pained. In the end, Viceroy's House works, but mainly as a historical refresher on the 70th anniversary of Indian independence. As drama, it's a reminder that truth is sometimes more affecting than fiction.
State brief. North Carolina opening shelters for out-of-state Irma evacuees. Greensboro, North Carolina is playing host to evacuees trying to escape the path of Hurricane Irma through Florida and Georgia. State officials said a fifth shelter opened Sunday in Greensboro to accommodate people and their pets coming to North Carolina and finding hotel rooms full. Other shelters near interstate highways opened Saturday in Dallas, Hendersonville, Smithfield and Huntersville. The State Transportation Department is using roadside electronic message boards to direct evacuees to the shelters. Attorney, man fatally shot, pointed gun at officer. In Charlotte, the attorney for a police officer involved in a fatal shooting says the dead man pointed a handgun at his client before the officer shot and killed him. Attorney George Lafrun told the Charlotte Observer that Ruben Galindo pointed the gun at Charlotte police officer David Guerrero before being shot Wednesday outside his apartment building. Lafrun says Guerrero told Galindo in Spanish to drop his gun and show his hands, but the 29-year-old did not follow those orders. Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Chief Kirk Putney said officers perceived an imminent lethal threat from the armed Galindo. Galindo's wife and 5 children were inside when he was shot near their apartment's back door. His widow said Galindo was drinking and called 911 to say he wanted to surrender a gun. Teen swimmer missing in surf off Hatteras. Buxton, a teenager is missing in the surf off Cape Hatteras as the force of approaching Hurricane Irma builds up the churning Atlantic Ocean. National Park Service officials said Sunday they are searching for a young man who was visiting the Cape Hatteras National Seashore from outside North Carolina. The teenager was reported missing about an hour before nightfall Saturday after last being seen north of the jetties in Buxton. The U.S. Coast Guard, Dare County Sheriff's Office, and others searched the area with a helicopter and spotlights Saturday night. The search resumed Sunday. Annual charity ride marred by attacks on the road. Someone tried to sabotage an annual charity bicycle ride across eastern North Carolina. The Newborn Sun Journal reported the ride for people living with multiple sclerosis was marred after someone scattered tacks along the route. At least 130 riders experienced flat tires on Saturday rides of 50 to 100 miles. Ride director Danny Clayton said it's the first time something like this has happened in the 2-day event's 29 years. Clayton says Sunday's route to Oriental would be checked for hazards. About 5,000 cyclists and volunteers are expected to participate in the event.
How to make your pet Instagram famous and make money from it, by Jessica Roy, Los Angeles Times, Tribune News Service, Los Angeles. There are all kinds of jobs today that wouldn't be possible without social media. One surprisingly lucrative gig, posting pet photos on Instagram. A sponsored post, one in which your pet is photographed with a product, can fetch from a couple $100s to tens of thousands. The pet doesn't have to be a dog or cat. There are successful accounts for foxes, pigs, and at least one featherless bird. If your pet can perform on video, that's worth even more, especially if you make the leap from booking TV commercials. It takes more than just a cute pet and an iPhone. To find out how to make your pet Insta-famous, we consulted the experts. Verisiri Methashirahan, who lives in Corona and owns a cat named Nala, at Nala_cat has 3.4 million Instagram followers. Running that account for Nala and her 2 other cats, at white_coffee_cat, who has 1.5 million followers, and at Luna_Rose, who has more than 295,000 followers, is Meth Evans' full-time job. Aidan Lee, who lives in LA and owns Geordie La Corgi, named for the character Geordie La Forge from Star Trek The Next Generation, at LA Corgi has more than 238,000 followers. When Lee isn't working with Geordie, she's an art director at an ad agency. Lonnie Edwards, the founder and managing partner at the Dog Agency, a New York City talent agency that represents Insta-famous animals. Edwards' dog Chloe, at Chloe the Mini Frenchie, has more than 172,000 followers. Colleen Wilson, the chief executive of Pets on Cue, an LA talent management company that manages animals that star in commercials, do book deals, and yes, have massive Instagram followings. Nala and her feline siblings are part of Pets on Cue's talent menagerie. Here's what they had to say. Know your brand. When you start your account, choose a few descriptive words and phrases for your pet's brand. Is your pet a spirited troublemaker, curious and friendly, silly and a natural performer? Make sure all your photos have a similar theme so your followers know what to expect when they see your pet in their newsfeed. For instance, if your pet's brand is free-spirited and loves nature, don't post photos of it perched in a first-class seat with a pet dish full of champagne. If it's upscale city dog, don't post photos of it sitting artfully on a log in a forest. Stay consistent. Don't trade free products for posts. You can start to make money from your pet's account once you have about 20,000 followers. Before then, many smaller accounts will be approached by brands that want to give a free product in exchange for you posting a photo of your pet with it on your Instagram. It's tempting, free stuff. That's a bad idea. If a multinational pet chain looks at your account and sees your work for free, it will expect you to work for free for it, too. If you're serious about making a pet Instagram your full-time gig, hold out for a paycheck. Post photos regularly and use hashtags. Plan to post, if not every day, then at least 5 days a week. Metapan Nala's owner posts 2 to 3 times every day across her accounts. Lee, who owns Geordie La Corgi, says she sets aside some time each month and takes several photos and videos, then spreads them over the next few days or weeks. When you post, add a few hashtags and a comment so people using Instagram's Discover feature can find your account easily. For inspiration, look at accounts similar to yours to see which hashtags they are using.
Triad to take regional approach to Amazon pitch. Greensboro. It takes a big response to go after a big project like Amazon. New second headquarters with its potential for 50,000 employees. So officials from Greensboro, High Point, and Winston-Salem will join together to make a pitch that the company bring its HQ to, as Amazon calls it, to the Piedmont Triad. The company floated its plan last week, a second headquarters operation that will be equal to its Seattle headquarters. It will require initially a 500,000 square feet of office space, billions in investment, and employ eventually as many as 50,000 well-paid executives. We'll probably do it in conjunction with High Point and Winston-Salem because of their Amazon's requirement that it be a metro of over 1 million people, said Brent Christensen, the chief executive of Greensboro Chamber of Commerce and the city's top economic development executive. In this case, we'll respond as a region. The details of that will still have to be worked out, but that'll be our strategy. We know the competition will be fierce, that's for sure. In addition to all of that space and a highly educated workforce, Amazon is looking for a place where those people can find amenities, housing, international air transportation, and a host of other requirements that the Triad may or may not be in a position to offer. With its plentiful universities, underused airport, and several big sites, including 1,500-acre Greensboro, Randolph megasite, and Randolph County. Piedmont Triad can offer the raw materials, but whether it can compete with other such cities as Chicago, Atlanta, Washington, and others that have highly trained existing workforces is an open question. According to one opinion piece on Bloomberg View website, the cities competing for Amazon will need to rise to the caliber of cities competing for the Olympics. First, the labor force needs for the headquarters dramatically shrink the number of metro areas able to bid, Bloomberg wrote. Amazon says it's considering metro areas of 1 million or more, but realistically, to provide 50,000 employees, a metro area is going to need to be significantly larger than that. Bloomberg betting money is on Toronto, Boston, Washington, Atlanta, Dallas, or Denver. Whatever the outcome, Christensen said this region will submit a proposal by the mid-October deadline. It will likely be a regional effort, still determining how that is organized, he said. But we will certainly make an aggressive proposal to Amazon.
Death toll rises to 90 as Aftershocks Rock Mexico by Christopher Sherman, The Associated Press, Yucatan, Mexico. Life for many has moved outdoors in the quake-shocked city of Yucatan, where a third of the homes are reported uninhabitable, and repeated aftershocks have scared people away from many structures still standing. The city on Sunday was littered with rubble from Thursday night's magnitude 8.1 earthquake, which killed at least 90 people across southern Mexico, at least 3 dozen of them in Yucatan itself. Officials in Oaxaca and Chiapas states said thousands of houses and hundreds of schools have been damaged or destroyed. Hundreds of thousands of people were reported to be without water service. Many people continue to sleep outside, fearful of more collapses as strong aftershocks continue to rattle the town, including a magnitude 5.2 jolt early Sunday. Some Yucatecos seeking solace trekked through the destruction to find an open-air mass on Sunday, since many of the churches were either damaged or left vacant until they could be checked. Along a street lined with obliterated homes, the Reverend Rodolfo Pacheco delivered a homily to a couple dozen people on wooden pews that had been toted into the patio in front of his gray concrete Our Lord of Esquipulas church. He said many were fearful of celebrating inside the structure, which from the street seemed undamaged. One enters with fear, with a foot ready to run in case there's a sign that other shake is coming, and it continues moving, he said. Local officials said they had counted nearly 800 aftershocks of all sizes since the big quake, and a U.S. Geological Survey counted nearly 60 with a magnitude of 4.5 or greater. Oaxaca Governor Alejandro Morat said Sunday that the death toll in his state had risen to 71, while officials have reported 19 killed in Chiapas and Tabasco states. Yucatan's downtown streets grew increasingly congested Sunday with dump trucks and heavy equipment to haul away debris. Smaller piles of debris were pushed into larger mountains of rubble reminiscent of the cleanup after a blizzard. Teams of soldiers and federal police armed with shovels and sledgehammers fanned out across neighborhoods to help demolish damaged buildings. Other groups distributed boxes of food. But help was slower to arrive in Union Hidalgo, a town of about 20,000 people, about 13 minutes to the east. Collapsed homes pocked neighborhoods there, and the town lacked electricity, water, and cell phone service. Delia Cruz Valencia stood in a puddle-filled street, overseeing demolition of what remained of her sister's house next door. Her sister took their mother for medical treatment outside the city before the earthquake and had not been able to make her way back. Men with pry bars ripped away the bottom half of a brick and stucco exterior wall to rescue a large wooden wardrobe because the house was too unstable to access through the door. Cruz said she was next door with her 2 daughters when the earthquake struck shortly before midnight on Thursday. We all 3 hugged, but even so we were moving. We were pushed from here to there by the rolling earth, she said. When she reached the street, she saw a cloud of dust rising from the house her sister shared with their mother. Cruz's great-grandfather had built it a century ago. If my sister had been here, she wouldn't have been found alive, Cruz said, choking back tears. Back in Yucatan, the General Hospital has settled into a temporary home at a school gymnasium with gurneys parked atop the basketball court. The hospital's regular building was damaged. Maria Teresa Salas Alvarez said it was chaos when the earthquake struck the single-story building. The staff moved patients outside and transferred most of those who required specialized care to other facilities. Selma Santiago Jimenez waved flags away from her husband on Saturday and mopped his brow while he awaited transfer for surgery. He suffered injuries in a motorcycle accident before the earthquake. Windows broke and doors fell in the hospital. The staff quickly helped get her husband out, she said.
A growing trend. Young urbanites are filling their homes with houseplants. On Sunday morning, Hilton Carter's girlfriend makes herself scarce from their one-bedroom apartment in an old Baltimore mill. Carter, who is 6'5", bearded, and the sort of man who wears a denim shirt and a ball cap with his peach shorts, begins a 4-hour grooming ritual. Not his own, of course. That would be insane. The hours when others are sipping bottleless mimosas, that's when Carter, a 37-year-old artist, feeds and inspects and prunes and otherwise tends to the Great Dane of a fern cascading down above his bed. It's when he bathes the tiny air plants perched like tropical bugs on his geometric mirror. This is when he fusses over the verdant monstera trademark Swiss cheese holes in its sprawling leaves that sways gently in the breeze coming off the Jones Falls River just outside the window. There are 180 plants here. This means every Sunday there are yellowed leaves to pluck away and toss, bugs to keep an eye out for, the great essential mysteries of light and air and sun to consider. There's a lot of expletives flying all day, Carter says of his weekend labor. It's just what is happening to you. You were fine for the last year in this spot. It hurts. Greenery has been a motif among the achingly hip for at least 3 years, when blouses fleeked with leaves and palm trees and massive birds of paradise first strutted down the runways at Marc Jacobs and Marnier, and then floated all the way down to the Gap. But suddenly the tropicalia is finding its way indoors. Even in drab, gray concrete jungles like Baltimore and New York, young people are turning their apartments into house jungles. Others prefer the term urban rainforest or the cutesy jungalow. In this aspirational landscape, outlandishly and photographically lush is ideal, and filling your home with plants is urban wagging. In less enlightened times, we probably would have just called it decorating. Annie Dornan Smith, a 22-year-old London-based graphic artist, guessed she may have as many as 50 plants in her flat. They're not particularly expensive, and it's another way to have something to look after, she muses. This summer, she published House Jungle, an illustrated guide to selecting and rearing the ubiquitous architectural plants of this trend. The slender and spiky Dracaena aurica palms, the birds of paradise, the lanky snake plants, and fiddle leaf fig offers a employee of Little Leaf, a tweed plant and paper shop that opened in winter in Washington, D.C. She nods in the direction of the hot cellar, a sprawling bush like number-laden with floating, almost translucent waxy green leaves, roughly the size of a dinner plate. The fiddle leaf fig has achieved what is known in the Instagram universe as Holy Grail status, but as with Pokemon, the plant obsessed are collecting them all. They're each your own little baby, says Joseph Wank, 31, who lives in a mid-century house in Iowa with his partner Nick Sellers and at least 45 plants. At first, Nick was not wanting me to bring them home, says the pop stylist. He was saying I was a plant hoarder. Nick came around. It became more and more of an obsession, the 28-year-old art director confesses. The buying habits of millennials naturally have a way of attracting attention. Shops have become wise to the growing number of novice green thumbs. This is called, says. The nurseries have figured this out. The hardware stores have figured this out. Of course, some people have always had a ficus around the house, but a faddish interest in houseplants in America seems to be perennially blossoming and then die out.
And this concludes our reading of the Fayetteville Observer. Your radio host have been
Beverly Simonette
and Robert Bean. To our radio listeners, please continue to listen to the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency, for additional programming. Thank you for tuning us in. We've enjoyed being with you this morning, and have a wonderful day.